Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Matthew, Watty's channel, back in the game room with another special review episode. So, every Wednesday, we are looking at different reviews of different toy lines, different wrestling toy lines, and I prefer to do videos on figures that we haven't already looked at previously. Now, one of the friends of the channel, Bucky, he did a special request that we look at the Motu wrestling action figures from the WWE, and the only reason I haven't looked at these figures with you guys previously is I do not have every figure. A good chunk of them, obviously, I would say I had probably better than half the figures, so that's good. But we're only going to look at the figures I have from the first 3 series. In the second video, we're going to look at series 4 through 6. And in the final video, we're going to look at series 7 and 8. So we're probably looking at, let's see if I got my list here. So 4 figures in this video, 8 figures in the next video, and 5 figures in the last video. So it does look like every single one of the 8 series did produce 4 figures in each line. So as far as completing each series, a little bit more simpler. Not when you compare it to like, Jakks Classic Superstars, where sometimes it might be 2 figures for the series, dual Hulk Hogan's. Or you might get into a series that has like 8 figures, 9 figures, 10 figures, etc. Or something like the Hasbros, which has anywhere on average between 10 and 12 figures or so. So, again, much easier to collect these figures, which is awesome. The one positive I love about the WWE Masters of the Universe from Mattel is that a lot of these toy lines are incorporating nostalgic toy lines, and they're combining them into one. For example, today, what's very popular, you'll see Transformers combining with the real Ghostbusters. In the past, we've seen Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers, combined into one. And so a lot of times you're seeing these figures kind of bleed into one unit, and they look fantastic. In the past, we looked at videos like the Mattel Monster, which incorporated, your Universal monsters like the werewolf and the vampire, mummy, etc. During a time that, The Walking Dead was a huge series and zombies were just everywhere. You've got your Mattel WWE Zombies collection. You've got your Mutants collection. So, kind of seeing these bleeding together is awesome. Now, I did put a halt on collecting this line probably a year or 2 ago. The reason I stopped collecting them is, I guess, I just had my interest where it was more important for me to collect other lines or to finish other lines. And, I like the figures a lot, but I wasn't crazy obsessed with them, if that makes sense. So, because the figures were really starting to get up there in price, I've already missed my opportunity to buy them on the Mattel website, right? So you're going on eBay and you're probably looking at $50+ for a single figure. And I just don't value these that much, so I kind of put a halt to it as far as purchasing the carded figures. At some point, not only do I want to complete this line, but I do want to also purchase the loose figures for individual loose display. Now, I kind of messed up with Mattel Retros and the Motu figures because I bought them all carded, so like I know what I paid for them on card, and that's why I absolutely refuse to pay that sort of money or more when it comes to loose displays. But we are going to dive right into the Motu WWE wrestling action figures. And as you guys know, in the 1980s, what was absolutely huge? He-Man and Masters of the Universe. And so kind of combining, once again, wrestling with vintage TV shows or action figures. I think this is brilliant marketing by the Mattel Corporation. In Series 1, which was, or they call it Wave 1, Wave 2, all the way up to Wave 8, it was released in 2019. And you had 4 action figures, which consisted of, from the bottom up, Ultimate Warrior, Triple H, Sting, and the one figure I do have for Series 1, Finn Balor. Now, in kind of incorporating both the He-Man theme with wrestling, I really enjoyed the overall look of the figures. The graphics on the back of the card as well, to boot, look absolutely amazing. So when you actually see these in open package, they actually do come with these little thin comic book strips that actually, I don't know if you can really make it out in here. Very, very hard to make it out, but they do come with comic books, and I think that's pretty awesome. And they all have their own little special, special power, special technique or whatnot. And Finn Balor, I've already said, this is a guy I want to see. I want somebody to create a real, legitimate Finn Balor LJN figure. I've seen a couple customs, but, where they use like a Tito Santana body or something. I don't like that. No, it's not Finn Balor. I want someone like the Big Rubber Guys or even Random Treasures even. Someone to get out there and just create its own unique character or own unique figure. Because the Demon Finn Balor, man, this is one of the coolest outfits that you'll see. So absolutely love this figure. And when you look at the little graphics on the back of the card, it kind of shows you that, the head is removable, of course. And you kind of go from wrestler to warrior type of deal. So absolutely amazing. It says power posing. Okay, yeah, that means nothing. I'm trying to see if there's anything else of value on here. Not really. You know what? This Sting, they have a very similar Sting figure for the WWE Mutants collection, so I don't know. I guess if you're a young fan and you're not just collecting these for collecting purposes, but you collecting them for actual play and use, that could be kind of interesting. You don't want to have the same figure over and over again. So kind of seeing very similar features from two different toy lines. Now as a collector, it doesn't really bother me that much. Obviously you like to see the differentiation and everything, but that is fine. Series 2, which came out in 2020. I do have 3 out of the 4 figures. And per usual, we are going to look at the figures based on how they are displayed on the back of the card. Number 1 is Rey Mysterio. For whatever reason, I kept thinking early 2000s, maybe like 2001, whenever it was that Rey Mysterio won his Royal Rumble. And of course, as you guys know, I quit watching wrestling back in like 98 or so. 97 more realistically, because as I said, in 98, I was really baseball obsessed at that time, and had very few memories of wrestling in 98. So 99, Vince McMahon winning Royal Rumble, that was so foreign to me. Like, I'd never heard of that. I thought that was absolutely insane. So I would say 97 is really the last year I was really into wrestling. So I never got an opportunity to watch Rey Mysterio. And I heard that he won like one of the early 2000 Royal Rumbles. I always thought he was the number 1 entrant. He comes in like Shawn Michaels at number 1, wins the whole thing. And I find out later on, for like the last year or two, that's what I thought. And it's not true. I think he was number 3, if I'm not mistaken. So same issue with like Ric Flair. I thought Ric Flair was your number 2 entrant in the 92 Royal Rumble. He was actually number 3 when he won his Royal Rumble. So to the best of my knowledge, Shawn Michaels still has the distinction of being the only number 1 entrant to win. Now, if I'm incorrect about that, please, let me know in the comments. But I could probably research it, but right now it's not that imperative. But this is Rey Mysterio. And the figures, as you will see, the graphics on the back. Trying to hold this up enough for you guys to kind of look around. And what do I have here? Some kind of message just popped up on my computer. Alright, so next is Macho Man. I thought I had Macho Man, but this version I do not have. So Macho Man would also be included in Series 2 or Wave 2. Next up is the Faker John Cena. Now, when I first saw this, he's kind of like, who was that? Was it Dr. Manhattan? Or Mr. Manhattan? I think it's Dr. Manhattan. And I kind of get that look. I kind of also get like a zombie-ish type of look from this figure. So, I mean, I kind of like it a lot. I mean, I don't know if this one actually glows in the dark, but I would think so. Because a lot of time when you see like figures that have like see-through, they're usually glow-in-the-dark figures. And you know what? AWA Remco. I don't know if it was Remco. I do have 4 figures that were AWA wrestlers, like Ivan Putski, King Kong Bundy, etc. Abdullah the Butcher's on there, and I can't remember who the other one was. But those were actually glow-in-the-dark figures, and I haven't even done a video about that. I've had those figures forever. Maybe sometime in the future. So this is actually one of the coolest figures. I actually like this one. I don't know where I'd rate these figures, but I think I'd have no problem rating him relatively high. And if you guys have a hard time seeing it with the plastic encasing, again, please let me know in the comments. And when I make the next video, I will take them out of the plastic. That is John Cena. And finally, I guess a man who would be considered the face of wrestling nowadays, Roman Reigns. I can never pronounce it correctly, so I'm sure I always butcher the name. But the NOE family, with, you know, guys like Samu Fatu as Rikishi, I kind of felt like they were one of the head shrinkers. Again, I didn't even know which one, though, until recently. I was watching the 2001, no. Anyways, Rikishi, it was probably like 2008, 2009 or something. And again, it's one of those Royal Rumbles that were extremely boring. 2004, I don't know. You know, Rikishi comes in, eliminates everybody, stays in the ring for a long time all by himself, throws everybody out. Finally, a big boss man comes in, stays on the outside until the clock counts down, and then he has someone else to come in and join him. I hate Royal Rumbles like that. I swear to God, from 2000 onward, even 97, 98 onward, Royal Rumbles have gotten so incredibly boring. And it's sad to say that, because I love Royal Rumbles. I love watching Royal Rumbles. I love making Royal Rumbles. It's just a lot of fun. Roman Reigns, he's like one of those guys that's become like the new Hogan. You know, your new Ric Flair, Steve Austin, Rock, you know, John Cena character. I do not know a lot about Roman Reigns, so outside of, you know, his family connection, his figures are usually pretty awesome, though, so I gotta give him credit for that. You know, in the Monsters, he was the werewolf, and one of my favorite figures, no doubt about that. And that is Roman Reigns. Now, Series 3, or Wave 3, also released in 2020, consisted of Braun Strowman, New Day. I'm not sure which New Day member. It just says New Day. The Rock and Undertaker would also be released in Series 3. I don't actually have those figures, so I can't really show them off. But, again, I do have all of Series 5, and I have all of Series 6. So, when we do 4 through 6 in the next video, you know, at least we'll have a little bit more to look at. So, more than likely, I'm probably going to... I want to get your guys' feedback regarding the cases, but I also want to film these videos now that I'm down here with the camera, with the computer ready. I'll go ahead. I'll just film the other 2 videos. That way, they're going to be in queue, ready to go for upload when the day comes. So, the next 2 Wednesdays, you'll just see part 2 and part 3 of these reviews. And if there are other videos, other figures that come in that need reviewing, I'll probably put those on one of the open days, like Tuesday, Thursday, or Saturday. Alright, so that's going to close out WWE Masters of the Universe review, Series 1 through 3, for what I have. And stay tuned for 4 through 6, and then 7 and 8. Thanks, everybody.